also be showing you how to set up your wallet and how you can get started with just getting into this world. I mean, again, this is a beginner's course, so if you have no idea about NFTs, Metaverse, or AR, and how it's all connected, then you came to the right place. So I know I've been hopping around here. It's a one-man show, so I just wanted to make sure that everything is running a-okay. Now that it is, let's go ahead and just talk about what we want to talk about today, which is NFTs, Metaverse, and AR, and exactly how it's all connected. And there's some nice animations for you. So let's just start here, really basic, the most basic level that I could explain this at, because this is something that I learned about NFTs last year. I learned about cryptocurrencies way long ago, and I was really into it really early, really beat myself up all the time for selling my Bitcoin when it was worth $300, and now my Bitcoin would have been worth, $40,000 or more. So let's just see exactly what's been happening with the internet. So you have to understand that there's a new protocol or new understanding of the web that's called Web 3. And so Web 1.0 is really what we were using from 1991 to 2004. That's going to be static web pages. There were very few people creating content. Most people were consuming the content, and everything was centralized. It all came from one place. If we wanted to go to CNN.com, of course, all of that data is hosted and stored and owned by CNN. If we wanted to go to Apple.com, it's all Apple, and so on and so on. Web 2.0 is from 2004 to the present. So this is still happening. Don't worry if you just learned about Web 3, you're not left behind in the dust. Web 2 is very relevant. And if anything, Web 2 allows us to connect to many of the Web 3 applications. But Web 2.0 is what we currently have. It's that social media, it's gaming, it's vloggers, it's web apps. And again, it's all centralized. So whether it's social media with Instagram, Snapchat, or Facebook, that's a centralized server. All of that data that you're uploading to that social media is stored on a single computer that's owned by Facebook or Google or Instagram or whoever. And the same goes for gaming. It's Sony or Microsoft or vloggers. You have YouTube. Again, you're uploading things to the web, and they're stored by this centralized company usually. And in this example, it would be Sony or Instagram or YouTube. But that's Web 2.0, and so that's what we're all used to. It makes sense to our brain because it's all centralized. If I go to youtube.com, everything that's on youtube.com obviously is hosted by YouTube. But now, since 2014 to now, we have this new standard called Web 3.0. And so this is, this term wasn't really coined until 2014, so maybe it was around earlier. But basically, Web 3.0 is going to be what we have going on with cryptocurrencies, NFTs, and everything else. And by everything else, I mean everything that's above Web 3.0. So everything that we had in Web 2.0 with social media, gaming, vloggers, web apps, everything that we had in Web 1.0 with those static web pages, all of that can be created with Web 3.0. So of course, the shining new fancy feature of Web 3 is cryptocurrencies and NFTs, but definitely you can still have a traditional social media site or a gaming site or a vlog or a web app. It's all possible with this new technology. The key difference is it's decentralized. So rather than being stored by YouTube or Facebook or Google or Apple or anyone, it's actually stored by everyone. And that's a really confusing concept to wrap your head around and really understand, because it's like, what do you mean that my data is also easily viewable by this person and everyone owns it? I don't quite get my head around that. So I did draw you a really simple graphic, but after this, I promise we'll go deeper. And so before we get to the graphic, I forgot my slides here. Here's Web 1.0. So just a reminder for your brain, I just threw a lot at you. So Web 1.0, 1991 to 2004. If you were alive, I would hope so, but if not, that's okay. Definitely you remember then that this is what the internet looked like, and it was terrible. I mean, AOL, if you remember America Online, the dial-up internet, it was so slow. And because it was so slow, of course, the web didn't have a lot of things to offer. So of course, there were a few images. I think that Yahoo site in that bottom left corner, I think that's more accurate to what a lot of web pages looked like back then. But then there's also, BuzzFeed, and there's Netscape, which was the browser that was built into Windows. And so, Web 1.0 was the first version of the internet. And of course, it was cool, it was great, it worked. But eventually we had to evolve because, dial-up doesn't really play that well with video and other types of content. And so that's how we evolved to Web 2.0. And that's exactly where we are today. I mean, one of these screenshots I actually took today, but you get the idea here. We have YouTube videos now, and we don't just have, a video, we have 4K videos. That's definitely not something that was possible back in 1991. And we have FaceTime, and of course, we have real-time video chat, and this is all powered by Web 2.0. We have social media sites, again, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, whatever you use, it's definitely a Web 2 application. And then gaming. Gaming really, really blew up and changed, I think, several times over because of the web. I think the first iteration, maybe the web just kind of helped with marketing. The second iteration, I think, is where we really started to see online games. And then I kind of want to say that third iteration because, for my generation, I grew up with Game Boys and stuff like that. And then eventually there were PlayStation 2s and PlayStation 3s and 4s and 5s. And so I remember when me and my cousin sat around thinking, hey, like video games are so cool, but you always have to have this disc or this cartridge and it always gets messed up. I bet one day there'll be a day where video games won't need a disc at all and you'll just be able to get it. We couldn't think of the word download back then because it just wasn't as heavily used, but that's exactly where we are today. These days, you can download an entire game or you can play an entire game on the internet with hundreds of thousands of other people. So Web 2 is obviously still very, very relevant, and it's the basis of what we do today. I mean, if we didn't have Web 2, I wouldn't be able to host this meetup by myself around the world on the internet. So thank you, Web 2. And then Web 3. So remember, I said that everything that we just saw is all possible with Web 3. So I left a lot of that out of this slide. And instead, I just wanted to put, some beacons for the people who don't know or do know. So we have OpenSea. We'll talk more about OpenSea, but OpenSea is a marketplace for buying and selling NFTs. Polygon. Polygon is another cryptocurrency slash blockchain that also allows you to make NFTs. We have Rarible, another marketplace. Ethereum is another cryptocurrency. There's Bitcoin in that bottom right corner. And again, those NFTs are just really, really cool and going to change how we operate a little bit. All right, so here's the graphic that I drew for you. It's some of my best work here, but on the left side, we have centralized. So centralized is what we're used to. This is that Web 2.0 model. So typically speaking, let's start at the very bottom. So there's you at the bottom. And you have your laptop, and on your laptop or your cell phone, there is your data. And so what we would typically do is we would upload that data. And when we upload it, we're uploading it to a major service provider. So that might be Facebook or Apple or Google or Instagram or any other website in the world. But that's essentially what we're doing is we're using our device to upload or change the data that's on a computer that's owned by one of these big technology companies or just someone else in general, but it's owned by usually one entity. And from there at the very top, we have our data that's owned by that company. And every time we want to change or maybe even re-download our data, again, we're pulling it through that company. So every time we interact with our data that way, because it's Web 2, we always have to go through that company. Now, this is the complete opposite of what we're doing on Web 3. So again, we'll start from the bottom there on Web 3. But again, you can see there's not really too much to follow there because with Web 3, it's already there. And it's a really confusing concept. But if you understand cryptocurrencies already, and if you don't, that's okay. I'll give you a really quick, dirty intro here. Basically, there's this technology called the blockchain. And so the blockchain is just a record of transactions. So imagine you ran a store and at the end of every day, you just printed out all of the transactions from that cash register. That's essentially what a blockchain is. It's a collection of transactions in order and that's it. The difference is rather than coming from a single computer, the blockchain is verified by every computer connected to the network. And usually this would be what we call a miner. So someone who just kind of leaves their computer on all day to create cryptocurrency. But basically, every time you upload your data to the blockchain, it's immutable. It can't be changed in the future. It's already there. And it's another good point is it's public. Everyone in the world can see it. So if I were to, let's say, send $1 million to my best friend, we'll call him Bill. Well, then when my friend Bill gets that $1 million, because it's on the blockchain, you can't necessarily go in and say, oh, this money came from this person and it's $1 million. That definitely is the $1 million that Casey sent over. But what you can do is track a specific wallet address. So you could say, oh, I see that $1 million was transferred from this wallet and it went to this wallet. And again, it doesn't matter what computer or phone or device you log in from, the blockchain is all the same on every single device. And I think that's kind of the underlying thing here is the blockchain is decentralized. It's not owned by anyone. You're just uploading things to it. And again, they can't be changed. It's a permanent record that's verified by all of the other computers around the world. So it's really, really secure in practice. And yeah, it really may / it already is the way or the next way that we're working with computers. I could go so deep into this topic, but I don't want to confuse people. So let's go through the slides and then we'll talk more and answer questions and things like that. All right, and so before we dive deep into distinguishing everything, I thought it was really important to just kind of bring things back and remind everyone really quickly what exactly are we talking about here. So AR, VR, I like to call them the non-identical twins. And that's because I like to say that they're like conjoined twins in that if AR grows, then VR also grows. There's not really, the industry is moving forward either way. They're both growing emerging industries. And I think every time that we have a win in VR, it's a win in AR and vice versa. If we win in AR, it's a win in VR. And so I think some of the things that really distinguish and just highlight what an AR or VR device is with augmented reality, it's going to display virtual content mapped to the real world. So in that top left corner there, I think that's a really great example because you can do this one at home. But Amazon actually added the functionality to see a lot of products in augmented reality before you buy them. So this is a really great feature because again, I can go to Amazon.com on my web to phone, nothing fancy, but we're just opening a product. I say, hey, I'd like to buy this Instant Pot or this new computer part or whatever you're looking for. And again, I can open my camera and view that in my kitchen in real scale. It's not like a scaled down version, it's real size and it feels like it's really there. So really, really great way to view things and simulate things and just really save money sometimes too. Virtual reality transports you to a virtual world. So on that top right corner, you can see this woman's playing Beat Saber. It's one of the most popular games on the Oculus Quest, which is Meta, not Facebook anymore, Meta's headset. And so, yeah, basically, I think it's pretty self-explanatory, that's not real life. She's in a virtual world. She's inside of a video game and she's controlling the video game using her head direction, her gaze, and also she has 2 controllers in her hands, which allow her hands to be mapped in the game as well. And you see that at the bottom of the screen too. So again, on the bottom left corner, again, that's augmented reality. You have a woman who's sculpting a new vase or something like that. And again, she's wearing a headset. She can see this in real life. She's actually sculpting it in her hand. So that's pretty cool. And then on the bottom right side there, again, virtual reality, we have someone who just put on a headset and now he's like, whoa, I can see my hands through these controllers. This is tripping me out. And of course, he's going to pick up those guns and get to blasting away in this video game. So that's the big difference is AR is a video game in real life. But again, it can be really useful for science and art. And VR is going to be a video game that you are inside of. And again, it can still be really useful for science and art, but also, I think gaming in VR and AR are just really, really, really powerful use cases. And when I say powerful, I think I really mean fun, like there's powerful and that's cool and all, but I think sometimes fun is what really sells and what really gets people to use something for longer than 30 minutes. Okay, so that's AR, VR. That's it. That's all I'm going to say about it right now. Let's keep going. to the metaverse. And so the metaverse is a web-connected digital world powered by a game engine. And so this is kind of the underlying theme here. I do want to highlight that game engine. Everything that we're talking about, well, not everything, but when it relates to the metaverse or AR, VR, it's definitely using a game engine. So again, we have 3D models that are mapped to either the real world or a virtual world. But I think what really highlights what a metaverse is it allows users to make and use real world money. I think this is the biggest key because the metaverse isn't a new concept. I actually have already been to the metaverse. I kind of almost grew up in the metaverse, you could say. There's a game called Second Life, and this was the original metaverse. And it does exactly that. It allows you to make and use real world money. You have limited amounts of virtual real estate that can be bought and sold by users. And yeah, I think Second Life was a really great Web 2 example of the metaverse. But now we're moving forward, and I think there's going to be some really great and new, powerful experiences that are built by bigger companies with better funding, essentially. So, and then my last point here is just ideally, the metaverse should be accessible from any device. But of course, it's going to be most compatible with hands-free AR, VR devices. And again, that's because we want our ability to use our hands. That's how we interact with the world. And so naturally, if we're transported to a virtual world, or if we have virtual content in our real world, you'll want your hands free so that you can move some things around and rescale some things and whatever else you do. Maybe you just want to, have a drink of a soda or something. But that's basically what it boils down to. Is a metaverse is this digital world that you can use money in. Ideally, you should be able to make money in this metaverse. Usually there's also some type of real estate component. And again, it should be accessible from any device, which isn't the case quite yet for all of them. But definitely it's going to be most compatible with a hands-free AR, VR device. Cool. And so again, before we go, I might as well kind of point out these examples. So on that bottom left, again, we have someone playing chess with someone who I guess is around the world. This one trips me out a little bit because I'm like, how does he see the hologram? But definitely, that's the idea. That's the vision, is that one day we'd be able to play chess with the confounds of the physical world, but again, with someone who's not really there. In the middle, we have like a work meeting. I believe this is Horizon Worlds. But basically, this is just a good look at basically how, in the future, again, rather than just being in a typical meeting, a Zoom meeting or an in-person meeting, we could actually meet in the metaverse around a table and still feel that sense of presence and still turn to the side and look behind us and all those other things that we would normally do. And again, just really feel like we are in this meeting place and we can focus and get some work done. And then the last one on the far right here, I forget which one this is, but it's art, definitely. This is going to be a game changer for art. I mean, it already has been. If you haven't been looking, it's already been a huge game changer for art. I mean, look at this guy. I don't know how he's doing that, but definitely, this is great because now we're not limited to physical materials. We're not limited to, things that we have to buy and mold and shape. Instead, it's all digital. And so this creates some really unique opportunities for the art world, the gaming world, and even the work world. All right. And so this is the biggest point I think that people miss about the metaverse, because there already are more than one metaverse. So, there's not just a metaverse, there are metaverses, and that's because, of course, different companies are building them. But right now, what's really hot, and I think, again, it just takes some research to really understand what's going on, is a race to 1 billion metaverse users. And so big tech has finally joined the party, and that's exactly what they're doing. Anyone can build a metaverse, technically, but what Meta or Facebook is doing is they're building a metaverse for connecting people through experiences. So that's what their mission statement is. They're just building something that helps people connect better and, again, build relationships and have experiences. Nothing else. That's all they claim. Microsoft is building mesh for work and productivity. And I do have to at least point this out here anytime I ever talk about Microsoft. I am also a full-time Microsoft employee. I don't work on anything related to Metaverse or AR, VR there. I have something that I work on completely different. But I just want to point that out because I think legally, I want to make sure anytime I talk about Microsoft, I'm letting you guys know that I am an employee there. But I think that, yeah, Mesh for Work and Productivity is on that bottom left screen there. And that's exactly what it looks like, is Microsoft is combining all of the existing tools that they have. So Microsoft Office, Word, PowerPoint, Excel, and Microsoft Teams. And all of that functionality has been combined in a way that ideally we should be able to, again, work from anywhere in this collaborative environment and really get some work done, you know, while feeling like we're still working in that traditional way. So that's Microsoft Mesh. And they announced that the day after Meta announced their Metaverse. So that was a very, very interesting shade that was thrown that day. And then NVIDIA is a gaming, a graphics company. They're a graphics chip company, we'll say. So they make graphics cards for computer gamers and other things, maybe self-driving cars and other, you know, really high-tech applications. But their Metaverse, they're calling it the Omniverse. And theirs is more targeted to architecture, gaming, and simulation. So you can see in that bottom right corner there, it looks like some type of manufacturing simulation. But again, this is where we're headed because, you know, Microsoft is doing the same thing. It's called like a digital twin. So ideally, you should be able to have a building or a machine that has a digital twin. And at any moment in time, that digital twin should be reflecting the real world status of whatever it is replicating. So in the example of this arm here, you know, this should be replicating an arm maybe in the real world. And ideally then we can see, oh, the arm's getting a little overheated, or, oh, you know, after a certain amount of times it doesn't work, or, oh, on this one, let's simulate if the box came in upside down and see what happens, or whatever. But that's the idea here, is that, you know, the Metaverse is so useful. And so big tech companies are approaching it from really 3 different angles. Again, that's connectivity and just socializing. There's work and productivity, and then there's like architecture and simulation. So these are kind of the biggest use cases of the Metaverse, but I think for most people, they're looking forward to connecting with people through experiences. Okay, and so that brings us to the sandbox. And so this is where we start talking about NFTs. So again, I haven't talked about NFTs yet, so if you don't understand them, don't worry, we'll get there. But the sandbox was created in 2012 with a limited supply of 166,000 land plots. The focus here is on the creation of games inside the sandbox. So you can buy land, and inside of that land, you could build a game or a museum or an apartment or whatever you want it. But that's kind of the goal there. And then they've already partnered with OpenSea, Ubisoft, SoftBank, Snoop Dogg, and they're very heavily funded. So this is most likely, I believe so, I think things go up and down here, but I believe this is the most popular metaverse at the moment. And again, it's voxel based, so the graphics are very similar to Minecraft, but there's a lot of money in this. I can't tell you how much exactly off the top of my head. We can check that out later, but definitely don't think that just because the graphics are blocky that, you know, it's not worth your time or it's not going to be more successful, because it already has seen an extreme amount of success. I mean, again, look at who's partnered with it: SoftBank, Snoop Dogg, Ubisoft. There's a lot of money that went behind this. And as a result, a lot of money has already come out. I think a lot of just users have made a lot of money because, again, as a user, you could join the sandbox. You could create, let's say, a couch, and you could sell that couch as a 3D NFT in the sandbox to other players and make money from that couch. And then let's say that player decides to sell that couch to someone else. Well, you can even get royalties from being the creator of that couch. So the rabbit hole goes really deep, but this is just a very quick look at the sandbox. I wanted to make sure that we're all aware of it, since it is the most popular metaverse at the moment. Next up, we have Decentraland. And so Decentraland was created in 2015. They have a limited supply of 90,601 land plots. I have no idea why that's the exact number, but there you go. And then they're arguably the second most popular metaverse at the moment. So I'm pretty sure they are. I didn't check any numbers, but so it's kind of based on personal opinion, but I'm pretty sure that the Sandbox is #1 and Decentraland is probably #2 at the moment. And so again, just to kind of help you understand what exactly is going on here, it's really whatever you want. So it's just really, again, you can hang out, you can play games, you can go to a music festival. They hosted a multi-day long music festival that featured over 80 artists and so much more. I personally actually have not even played Decentraland yet, but I have heard about it so much that I know it's where I should probably check out next, because I've watched some videos. There's definitely people making, I would say, there's jobs in the metaverse. So there's people who work exclusively in Decentraland, and they're making maybe, let's say, $1,000 or $2,000 a month. But again, I mean, that's on a game that's in the metaverse, So for some people who don't have a job, or for some people who don't make that much, that is a lot of money. And for sure, it's possible you could go and find a normal job right now, or you could hop on Decentraland and find a job there and still make money. So definitely, again, it's like not one of those things where it's like, oh, it's going to happen, it's already happening, and big tech just finally jumped in. So maybe now we'll see a metaverse that has 1 billion users. But definitely, like I said, I played Second Life back in the day, and they have millions of users already. So the metaverses are growing, but there's only some that use NFTs and allow you to make a lot of money. And that's what I would really consider to be the metaverse that we're talking about, is one that has functionality, or just functionality that includes NFTs. So that's a quick overview. Again, I could go deeper, but let's go ahead and continue. And so this brings us to our last one here. It's Horizon Worlds by Meta. And so this one I have tried. It's really, really interesting. I think one of the first things you'll notice is no one has legs. So everyone in Horizon Worlds has a torso, arms, and a head, but no one has legs yet. And I think that's just a graphics trick. I think they realized that they would save graphics and be able to render twice as many people if they just cut everybody in half. And so that's what they did. But it works out, because I mean, you don't really need to see people's legs all the time. But Horizon Worlds is really interesting because, again, this is Facebook/Meta's attempt to get to 1 billion users. And they already have a lot of people. They have billions of users already. So it's a high chance that they will get a huge amount of users soon. I mean, this is already live. You can try it for yourself. It's free. You don't need to pay any money. The main thing that I'll say about Horizon Worlds at the moment is I do not believe you can make money in it yet. Again, it just came out. It's still rolling out, I would almost say. So I don't think there is a way to make money. I could be lying here, but I think when I researched it a month or two ago, that functionality is just not quite there yet. They're really looking for users to build the world first. And that's kind of the key here. I think that GIF on the left side is kind of showing that, is that, right now they're just waiting for people to literally show up and build things. So you hop on Horizon Worlds and you can build a world or a game or experience. And again, other people can join you in that world or experience. It's actually really, really cool. I'll say, for the first time I played it, very, very straightforward. You hop in, it's on a headset that has a microphone. So everyone has a microphone and can talk. And there's all these different physics challenges and things that they have in the starter world, so that you can understand, that, hey, there are physics. You can throw a paper airplane, or you can do things with other people. It's actually really, really cool. So again, you can't make money in this one yet, but I would definitely say keep your eye on this one, because it's Meta. They have a lot of money. They came out and renamed their company around the metaverse. And obviously, they have a lot of resources invested into this specific metaverse already. So keep your eye on that one. All right. So we're getting close to NFTs, or non-fungible tokens. But before I talk about non-fungible tokens, I wanted to explain what fungible tokens are, because, again, I didn't understand the difference until maybe 2 or 3 months ago. Before that, I knew what an NFT was. I kind of understood it, or I thought I understood it, but definitely it goes so deep. And I want to kind of emphasize that in today's course, is that this is just a really quick, dip of the toes in each one of these subjects, because again, AR, VR, I created a whole meetup around it. So obviously I'm passionate about it. I could talk about it all day. With the metaverse, again, there's so many different metaverses. I could talk about it all day. And then with NFTs, there's just so much more that goes into it than meets the eye that I can talk about it all day, but definitely we'll just go ahead and talk about it, answer some questions, and go from there, because I don't want to confuse you, because there's just so much you can do. It's kind of crazy, because there's almost a year gap until I realized, like, oh, like you can do so many things, and I did everything wrong when I first started. So now I'm learning, and now I've learned, and I have some really exciting things. But fungible tokens means that every single token is the same and undistinguishable. So a great example would be a Bitcoin or an Ethereum coin. These are cryptocurrencies, and you can't tell one Bitcoin from the next. So if I were to give you a Bitcoin, and you also had 99 other Bitcoins, well, there is no way to tell the one Bitcoin that I gave you apart from the other 99 Bitcoins that you have. So instead, you'll have 100 Bitcoins, and whenever you want, you can give me back a Bitcoin. And again, I couldn't tell if it was the one that I gave you originally or a completely different Bitcoin. They're all the same. It doesn't matter. And so some other examples of this, the first ones that came to mind for me were arcade tickets or coins at a Chuck E. Cheese's. So again, and I actually spelled Chuck E. Cheese's wrong. I didn't realize that it's Chuck E. Cheese's. Haven't been there in a while, but Chuck E. Cheese's, if you've ever been there, it's basically an arcade for kids. And when you win, they give you these coins. You take your coins and you redeem them for different prizes. But again, each and every single coin that you get inside of this Chuck E. Cheese arcade is exactly the same. There's no difference between the coin that you won on this machine and the coin that you won an hour or two later on a different machine. It's all the same Chuck E. Cheese token. And so that's what a fungible token is. That's what Bitcoin or Ethereum or any other major cryptocurrency probably is, a fungible token. But then we have NFTs, and this is where things get complicated, exciting, and confusing all at the same time. So let's start at the very top. There are two types of NFTs. So there are the one-of-ones, which sometimes you'll see ERC-721. It's a protocol, but basically it means that it's a one-of-one. Or there are one-of-many, which is an ERC-20. And so just to go back here, that one-of-many or an ERC-20 token, that's the same thing as a fungible token. That is what a fungible token is. So Bitcoin or Ethereum, again, there are one of many. You can have 100 Bitcoins. One of them is the same as the 99 others. The same goes for our ERC-20 NFTs here. One ERC NFT is the same as the other 100 NFTs that were made at the same time. Whereas our one-of-one NFTs, each one is individually unique. We can tell them apart digitally and also visually through some of the attributes that they may show. An NFT can be literally everything. And again, I could go deep here, but as we see, it can be an image, it could be a piece of music, it could be a video, it could be an in-game item, it can even be an event ticket. I think recently the Super Bowl had their tickets as NFTs. Each ticket came with an NFT related to that. And the importance of that is, imagine being able to say that you were at the last Super Bowl there where like Snoop Dogg and everyone else performed. Imagine to be able to say like, hey, I had that ticket where, the Rams won and it was just a crazy Super Bowl game 2022. So imagine 20, 40, 50, 60 years from now, if you had that ticket, again, if it's stored as an NFT, there's no way it's a fake. Like that's kind of the key here, is that with NFTs, it's on the blockchain. It's proven that this is the original that was minted 30, 40, 50 years ago. And that's kind of the key there. And so that drives right into my next point. An NFT proves current and previous ownership using the blockchain technology that powers those cryptocurrency transactions. So the same technology that allows us to send and receive Bitcoins or Ethereum securely, and again, have that printout of every single transaction that's ever happened, that same technology is how we're able to have NFTs and prove that, hey, this NFT is valuable, It's the original. It's not a fake. I think a great example would be, let's say, Kobe Bryant. You know, Kobe Bryant was a famous basketball player. He tragically passed away in 2020, but his wife is still alive, and of course, he had tons of memorabilia. But let's say Kobe had bought an NFT, one of the ones on the screen here, and he bought that NFT right before he died. And so after he died, his wife decides to sell that NFT and donate all the money to charity. Well, what's great about that is, again, I can see specifically that Kobe bought this NFT at a certain point in time, and that might add to the value. Just the fact that Kobe Bryant owned it would be like, oh, well, Kobe owned it. I'll pay you an extra $1 million for it. So let's say you go and buy that NFT. Well, now again, when you sell it to the next person, they'll say, whoa, like Kobe Bryant owned this NFT before you did. I'll pay you good money for this because I'm a mega Kobe Bryant fan. I love him so much. I want everything. I have his signed jersey. Give me your NFT. I'll pay so much money for it. That's kind of the point here, is we have a way to prove that this is the original version of this digital item. And something that I only, again, recently learned, but it's so powerful, is that NFTs can function as a vote, a membership pass, or simply convey value. But again, the vote, the membership pass, and functions, this is a big key here. So, you know, we see these NFTs, they're all pieces of art. They all have art attached to them, but the picture isn't the main feature. I think that's where people get caught up. They're like, why is this monkey worth $1 million? Why is this this character here spinning around? It's just digital. It's a GIF. That's cool, but why is it worth so much money? And the answer is it's the same as any piece of art. You know, like, why is a Mona Lisa worth millions or billions of dollars? Why is a Picasso worth millions of dollars? Well, again, it's a part of a collection, so that helps. But also, it's just something that someone saw value in. And I think that's what people have a hard time understanding, is that either it's just a piece of art that someone sees value in, and therefore they say, hey, I think that GIF is worth paying $100,000 for to prove that I'm the only owner of it. Or it can actually have utility. And what utility is it's a reason to use that NFT. It's how that NFT creates real world value. And so, as an example, your NFT can serve as a vote. And so this is where things get really deep. But essentially, let's say you have let's say you have an NFT from a collection of 10,000 NFTs, right? And so you have one NFT. And so every time this company, let's say Adidas as an example, because they did launch an NFT collection, let's say every time, and I think they launched it exactly this way. So every time Adidas releases a new sneaker, they would like to hold a vote on which sneaker they should release, because obviously they're Adidas, they have so many ideas. So how did they decide? Well, they actually did create an NFT collection. Maybe we can go check this out. Should have put it in my slides. But their collection allowed the owners of that NFT to be a part of this community where they can vote on exactly that. They can vote on what Adidas is doing next for this particular fashion collection. And I think there are some other perks. I think it also included a physical jacket. So again, an NFT can be linked to a physical object. It could serve as a vote. It could serve as a video game character. So again, the character that you're playing with in a video game, you could own that character, and you could also sell that character to someone else. You could also rent out that character to someone else. So, it goes beyond what we're used to thinking with that traditional Web 2 brain, where we say, hey, I logged into Facebook, and on Facebook, they have, I think that's a bad example, I'm digging a hole here, but you get the idea, is that whenever we have these NFTs in the mix, it means that there may or may not be some additional functionality that you literally just can't see unless you kind of read more into the project, or it could just be a piece of art that's worth a lot of money. And again, I'll explain this more. These are just the slides. After this, we'll hop into kind of a live demo. But these are some examples. These are some examples of some of the top NFTs right now. Well, some of them. One of them I actually made, and it's not out yet, but you get the idea. And so this is, again, trying to just reel you guys in and understand, okay, so you're telling me that just pictures are just worth money now, and I can just, like, no, there's more to it. So NFT collections. This is where the most of the money is being spent. Again, those one-of-one NFTs seem to hold the most value because of small differences that add rarity. So hopefully you can see my mouse cursor here because I don't. Let's try. All right, I don't see my mouse, so we'll just point it out. On that bottom left corner, that's the doodles. So this is an NFT collection that's pretty famous. It came out quite recently. They are worth a lot of money there. But basically, you can see that each doodle is slightly different. So the first one has pink skin and some white glasses. The next one has blue skin and no glasses. The next one has green skin and dotted eyes. The next one has brown skin, fancy purple shades. You get the idea. Each and every single one of these is completely different. Same thing with the CryptoPunks. This was one of the most famous and first NFT projects that really hit it big. And again, each and every single one of these CryptoPunks, it's a very simple project. They're all, pretty pixelated, but each one is worth so much money because it's one of the first collections. And again, it's a collection. So each and every single one is completely different. Next, we have, I believe this is the Mutant Dog Club. But again, you get the idea. Each one of these dogs is completely different. And so going back to my bulleted points here, collections of one-of-one NFTs are either made one at a time or thousands are randomly generated with code. And so typically you're going to see the randomly generated with code because obviously that makes it a lot easier for one person or multiple people to make 10,000 of these individual that are each individually different. Or you could do this one by one, and make it by hand. It just, again, takes some time to create, post, and get that onto the blockchain, again, for enough people to really support your project. I think that's what I'm trying to say. If you hand make them one at a time, that means maybe only 50 or 20 or 100 people could buy your NFT when you first launch because you'd have to work for a really long time to make 10,000. Whereas with the randomly generated NFTs, again, they're randomly generated. You never know what's going to come out, but it usually looks good as long as it was built and put together in the right way. Then the random generation shouldn't affect the quality at all, we'll say. And then some collections are purely artistic and have no formal function or utility. So again, some of these NFTs, they're an image, and by buying this image, again, it's not about the image, it's about the NFT, which is connected to an image permanently. So that image can never be changed, it can never be modified or anything like that. But basically that image could either just be a picture that's a piece of art that we say, wow, I love this piece of art, I'll pay you all of my money for it. Or it could be, a token that represents membership to an exclusive yacht club, or let's say it gets you free pizza on every Friday, or it gives you the royalties to your favorite artist's songs. These are things that are already happening. Really big artists are already releasing music songs and albums where if you buy the NFT, you own a percentage of their royalties. Literally every time they make $1, you're going to make $1. So there's so many different ways to do NFTs. Again, I'm pretty sure I should host a separate class just on NFTs and augmented reality. That way we can kind of focus in just on NFTs even more, and why, again, I could talk all day about it, but why they're useful and why you should really be into this stuff, basically. And then, so that's it. That's the end of my slides here. I have some useful links here, so I'll post these in the chat. But that's it for my slides. So really quickly, let me just check the questions here because I know there might be at least one. We'll load it up. Okay, we got a few questions. So yeah, before we hop to our next part, let's just try to tackle some of these. So Gene says, why does it seem there are many, and I'll actually publish these, the ones that I think should be published. So Gene, he says, why does it seem that there are many in the tech community against NFTs especially? I think it just comes from a lack of understanding. I think, again, it really pisses people off when you work for 30 years, you go to college, you get your degree, you work at the biggest, fanciest tech company in the world, you're making $200,000, $300,000 a year, and then someone sells a GIF or a JPEG for $1 million. I think that just pisses people off. And then it also pisses people off that they don't understand it. They click on it and they go to the website, they're like, but that's it, it's just a picture. And again, it's more to that. We'll try to dive into that here while I'm sharing my screen. We'll go through some actual NFT projects, and I'll show you why I think they're valuable so that you can understand my mindset as someone who made a lot of mistakes and bought a bunch of useless NFTs in the beginning. All right, so that hopefully answers your question, Gene. Should we be seeing / hearing something? I hope that that was not a problem anymore, because we're kind of 40 minutes past that question. Why are so many in the tech community anti-NFT? Again, I think it goes back to that. I think it's just understanding. And I think as more people see this blow up, as more people get the understanding, they'll be more open to it. But I think right now it's hard because, you know, if you're not an art collector, then you're probably wondering, why do people pay so much for some different paintings? You know, like, yes, it was made 100, 200 years ago, but is it really worth $300,000? It's all in the eye of the beholder. I think Gary Vee has a really great example. You know, why do we value a blue check on Instagram or Twitter? Why do we see someone with a blue check and say, whoa, they're verified by Twitter? That's amazing. They're basically a celebrity. Like, again, it's just a status symbol sometimes. And I think that's what you have to understand is sometimes people will spend $1 million on a specific NFT just to show other people in that community, hey, I'm one of you. I'm also here. I also have that NFT. We have similar thoughts and vibes. So it's that type of thing, because again, remember, this is decentralized. You don't have to use your real name. You don't have to be you. Like, you know, all of your NFTs exist everywhere. The wallets are anonymous. So it's not really about who you are necessarily. It's more so what relevance do you have to that community sometimes. So I could go deeper and deeper because there's way more to it than what I'm saying here, but let's go ahead and answer a couple more questions. I do want to demo how to set up an NFT wallet. So let's see here. All right, so we'll dismiss that one. Iris asks, what if you don't want everyone to know when I'm sending Bill 1 million? Does anyone able to really see everything? Yeah, so you can. I'll show you exactly how we explore the blockchain. But basically, if you don't want people to know that you're sent Bill $1 million, you could just make a new wallet. You could make a new crypto wallet right now that's never been used before and use that one to send Bill your money or vice versa. All right, but that's it. And I'm going to show you how to do the wallets. I know we only have about 10 minutes technically here, so I'll try to rush through these. Please help me explain what is XR / mixed reality, the new buzzwords. So XR / mixed reality, I think XR is just a catch-all term that covers everything. So going back to our AR VR example here, and I think I closed my slides. Here we go. Going back to this example, and for some reason my slides won't open. Ah, there we go. So going back to our AR VR examples here, all of this is considered XR. What I think is considered mixed reality is exclusively augmented reality. So mixed reality is mostly a term that I think comes from Microsoft. Microsoft calls their AR mixed reality, whereas the rest of the industry especially calls it augmented reality. So that's the only difference, is mixed reality is augmented reality, and then XR, so we'll just add this here, /XR. XR means both. It means both of these. So rather than writing AR/VR or AR/VR, you could write XR, and some people will know that you mean everything. But again, it's such, you know, I think it's a lot easier to just say AR/VR because everyone knows what VR is. And if they know what VR is, you can help them understand what AR is. All right, so I'm going to answer a couple more questions, and then we have to dash over to my my demo here. So let's dismiss. How can someone buy virtual real estate? So again, you're going to need this virtual wallet, which I'm going to show you how to set up through MetaMask. And through that virtual wallet, you could hop on Decentraland or the Sandbox specifically, and you could buy real estate in those metaverses. So this is something you can do right now. It's probably pretty expensive now because, you know, it's not day one. But definitely, if you have the money, you can buy some metaverse real estate right now. How does actually join a metaverse and become a member? No, these are great basic questions. This is the point of this meetup, basic questions. So we'll cover this one. Hi, everyone. Here, I'm going to publish this one too. I see, dismiss. Okay, let's see. I'm a designer. How can do I need to copyright first? All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and publish the rest of these here, just these ones. I think this is a duplicate. And so I'll come back and kind of answer these, but I want to make sure I at least show everyone how to do the wallet half, because that's kind of the whole thing here. Make sure you check out my website. It's nearfuture.marketing. Of course, everything related to the meetup will always be here. So after this meetup, I'll be announcing another meetup. I'm also on social media now. Maybe I'll put some links up. But before the last 4 years, AR Today has never been on social media. So it's a big deal that I made a separate account and a separate YouTube for all of this content. So if you like today's presentation, if you missed anything, don't worry, it's all recorded. We'll be posting this on YouTube a little bit later today. But let's go ahead and take a look at first how we can make a wallet. And then, we might go a little over time here, but hang in there with me. And like I said, it's recorded. And I got to make sure we do the raffle thing too. So let's do that. So the first thing you'll need to do is download MetaMask, and I had the link up, but let's just pull it up again. There we go. So I think a good browser to use for NFTs is going to be Google Chrome. I use Safari usually, but Safari doesn't work for NFT stuff. So I use Google Chrome for anything NFT related. And you can also use Microsoft Edge. So there's the MetaMask link. And all you need to do is open up Google Chrome, go to this MetaMask link, hit download now, and then you have the option to download MetaMask either on your Chrome, your iOS device, or your Android device. So definitely, use the Android or iOS devices apps as well. But go ahead and install this into Chrome. Once you've installed it, you should see this Fox icon here. Go ahead and tap mine. And so you can see I have an account right here that has 36 bucks in it. But definitely this is the basics here. This is your wallet. And so what you would need to do is to create your account, and you can create as many accounts as you want. So let's go ahead and go through the process. So we'll tap create account. We'll call this account AR Today Demo, so that I know that I don't really need this one. There we go. AR Today Demo. We'll go ahead and tap create. And oh, that's all they want me to do this time. That's interesting. So usually you'll have to store a secret phrase. It's a secret phrase. It's 24 words long. I'm actually kind of curious as to why they didn't ask me to do it this time. But typically, maybe because I'm already signed in here, but typically speaking, you'll need to create that account and then create a very secure password to access that account. And that's usually what protects it. So that's really easy. You just follow the steps after you download MetaMask. I don't think we need to cover that anymore. Once you have this account, then you can navigate some of these websites like OpenSea. So I'll go ahead and post this link here in the chat. And so OpenSea is a secondary NFT market. And again, I know we're tight on time, so I'm gonna try to rush through this a little bit just to leave time for everything else. But with this OpenSea.com here or .io, what we have is a marketplace, and we can scroll through and we can see, I think most importantly, the top collections over the last 7 days. And so really quickly, I know this one launched today and you can see it's already #1. So let's take a look at what's going on with Invisible Friends. And so this is typically what an NFT project looks like. So this is a collection. Remember, some things are just an NFT and some things are part of a collection of NFTs. So Invisible Friends is a collection of 5,000 animated invisible characters by Marcus Magnuson. And we can see the Twitter that's linked here officially. So ideally, a good NFT project will always have a Twitter, and it should always have a Discord and maybe even an Instagram. But definitely a Discord and a Twitter are good signs for an NFT project. We can see that there are 5,000 of these NFTs total. There are 4.2 thousand people that own them. And the floor price is 7 ETH, which is pretty expensive. 7 ETH, if we go to CoinGecko.com, we can see the price of every cryptocurrency that's out there right now. And right now, 1 Ethereum or 1 ETH is worth $2,621. So take 2,600 and multiply it by 7, And that's probably like $14,000 or $15,000 minimum just to buy one of these. So again, not cheap anymore, but that's because people have probably run up the price already. They probably got it a little bit cheaper. But again, you can see that each one of these is completely unique. And if we click into one of these, let's click this guy. So here's the NFT. We can see the description again. We can see it's worth $18,000 right now. And if we go beneath that in properties, we can see exactly what makes this NFT unique. So it has a green background. 9% of the NFTs in this collection have that trait. It has a purple hoodie and only 2% have this purple hoodie trait. So this is a pretty rare trait, or rarer trait than the green background. And if we go ahead and click purple hoodie, let's say I really love purple hoodies. Well, I can see every NFT in this collection that has a purple hoodie. So here's Invisible Friends number 4265. Here's number 859, and so on and so on and so on. But again, because of the filters we added, these are all going to be in the same collection, and they all have a purple hoodie like this one here. And so again, we could always, it's like, wow, it's a GIF. What if I just right click this and save image as, and saved it to my downloads, and we'll just call it number 3045, right? And if we go ahead and open that, again, I can download the GIF, I can save it, I can do whatever I want with it, but that's not the point. The point here is that this is on the blockchain. It's currently owned by somebody named Dirty Sock. And so if we wanted to, we can go in and see all the entire history of this object. So right now I can see the original price was 5.6 wrapped ETH or ETH. It was owned by this Berkshire Batha guy. That was and then maybe, oh, these are bids, sorry. So these are offers. These are people who are offering money right now. And again, these people are offering $14,000, $20,000, $22,000, $22,000 as of 6 minutes ago. So people are currently bidding on this NFT as we speak. Isn't that crazy? But again, we can go through and we can see the history of this NFT. We can see any additional details, and we can see the contract address. So if we go ahead and click this, again, this is just the back end, but this is where we can really see everything that's going on, and I can see every transaction that's happening within this Invisible Friends contract. And so again, this goes so much deeper. I would love to talk more about this, but I think it's better if I don't, because this isn't necessarily an NFT course today. It's just an overall course of how this stuff is related. And so to wrap things up, and just to kind of remind you, like, again, if I bought this on the blockchain and I joined a Metaverse game that's also powered by the blockchain, well, then I should be able to really instantly use any of my art or my costumes or anything else that I've bought in that Metaverse. So an example of, this picture, it's just a picture, but I could at least have this picture in my Metaverse. If it was a 3D game character, well, it could be I could actually play in full 3D as that game character, walk around, sell that character, use that character, and so on. So that's just really, the idea here is that ideally you should be able to buy these things. They'll always be around because it's on the blockchain forever. And so if some crazy game comes out 100 years from now and it's still using blockchain technology, then you can go ahead and bring your NFTs directly into that game. And again, we can see that Kobe Bryant used to own it, or Bill, or whoever. But that's OpenSea. And what I want to point out here is that OpenSea is showing us the top collections over the last 7 days, but you have to think about this from a Web3 brain. This isn't the top collections on OpenSea. This is the top collections on the blockchain, because remember, what I said earlier is that we can all see everything that's happening on the blockchain. And so as a result, we can see who's making the most money. So if we go to the rankings, I can see exactly in real time, Invisible Friends just became #1 today. So you can see that over the last 24 hours, there was a 500% increase. Some of these other projects have lost some traction here. The Bored Ape Yacht Club is really infamous. It's one of the most famous NFT projects out there because it's just a bunch of apes. But again, 10,000 randomly generated apes. Each one has different properties that makes them unique. And this one also has a membership. So if we go back to the Bored Apes here, and again, I probably should have planned this out better with the timing, but if we go ahead and open up, and we'll go ahead and just visit their website. So let's go ahead and visit the Bored Ape website. Basically, and it says it in the description too, your Bored Ape doubles as your yacht club membership pass. It grants access to members only benefits, and it's the first of which, yeah. So basically it adds some cool perks and features. And I think what really made the Bored Apes worth a lot of money is the celebrity factor. I think a lot of celebrities started buying in. Justin Bieber, Steph Curry, Paris Hilton, Jimmy Fallon. So many people bought Bored Apes. And I think that's what really helped the price. And again, it's just like, hey, I own one of these Bored Apes. And then you see Jimmy Fallon, and you're like, hey, you own one too? Oh my gosh, we're friends. So that's kind of the underlying idea, but there's still so much more to it. But again, if we hop over to Rarible, and again, I'm going really quickly here. Rarible is the #2 NFT marketplace, and I'm actually verified on Rarible, so I like Rarible. But Rarible also has the same thing. They can show you the top collections in the last day or maybe the last 30 days. And again, we can start to see exactly how much money some of these guys are making over the last 30 days. And again, the top, I mean, this is $44 million for the number 15. Number 1 right now is 233 million here on this chain. So there's so much going on here. I wish I could explain a little bit better, but I just want to point out that this is how we navigate. Again, you get a wallet. Once you have your wallet, wait for mine to open up there. Once you have your wallet, you then can go ahead to any of these sites like OpenSea and Rarible, and then you would just go ahead and sign up. So we'll go to profile here, and we'll go ahead and connect our wallet to MetaMask. And oops, looks like it connected to my account. So you can see there's my account, but you get the idea. We have an account that we don't need a password for OpenSea.com and a password for Rarible.com and a password for blockchain.com. Instead, you just need to have your wallet logged in. And when you go to Rarible or OpenSea, that's it. As long as your wallet is in the browser, then you should be able to access your account and again, navigate OpenSea. As you saw, I didn't have to type in any passwords. I just clicked login, and because I already had an account, I was able to log in. But same thing if you don't have an account, you can just log in. Okay, let me just really quickly jump back for questions. Awesome, yeah, it is recorded. How do you randomly generate GIFs? How do you creative artists to participate? So you don't need to be a creative artist. I think that's what people don't understand. Some people only trade NFTs. Like that's kind of like their day job. Like some people trade stocks all day. Some people legitimately don't care about the art at all. And that's okay. They literally just go on and they say, oh, this one right here, CloneX is worth, let's see here. This one's worth, we'll say $20,000. And I think this one has a rare trait. Let's look at the properties here. It has this one here, this high-tech dress, and only 0.25% of these have this high-tech dress. So you know what? Maybe this is worth the 26,000 because someone else might buy it for 30,000. Some people do that all day. So you could just buy and sell NFTs. As an artist like myself, you can definitely make NFTs. And I saw some questions about generative art, so I'll at least point you in the right direction. There's this app that I've been using recently called it's by This Cozy Studio. So I'll just go ahead and plug this in. So for 3D NFTs, I found this to be a really useful technique. So I'll go ahead and copy this tutorial and I'll just paste it in because we don't have a lot of time. So I want to at least just post some links here. But check out, that does not look like a YouTube link. Let's go back here. We'll go to the site. There we go. Copy, pause, and all right. Sorry if I'm jumping around here again. I just want to tell myself.
I call it the wheel.
There we go. So check that out. This one will show you how to generate NFTs with no coding. And then there is also Hashlips. Hashlips is going to be the way to make NFTs that are pictures. If you want to randomly generate NFTs, then Hashlips, this guy here, is he's the guy
in this video
software that made everybody's life easier, basically. So I'll just paste his YouTube video channel link in here as well. And so definitely check out Hash Tips. I think this Cozy Studio is a great tool for 3D NFTs, and Hash Lips is a great tool for 2D NFTs. With that, we're almost 10 minutes over time, so I do want to wrap this up. I definitely will be hosting another NFT course because as I started planning this, I realized like, whoa, this is just, it's too much content. It's too much to say, talk about AR and the metaverse and NFTs in one. But I wanted people to realize that one day we'll have AR glasses or VR glasses that let us join the metaverse. And I mean, we already have these things that let us join the metaverse and buy and sell NFTs and buy and sell land, again, virtually without leaving our homes. And whether or not you think that's cool, it doesn't really matter because it's already happening. There's already billions of dollars being transacted. So rather than hating, I would say just hop in and buy some, sell some. But before you do that, before you get too deep, I would say do some more research. And also, I wanted to do a raffle today. So I wanted to make sure that it was a fair raffle, and I wanted to, let's start by just showing you what I'm giving away here first. So right now, I'm working on a new NFT project. So we'll go and show this and go up and up and up and up. Okay, and so I actually made 10,000 of these, but right now I'm kind of experimenting. So I'll just go ahead and show this because I wasn't ready to give it away today, or I was ready to give it away, but I'm still working on these ones, and I have some other NFTs I can give away. So these are a collection of 3D NFTs that I'm working on. And again, they're all procedurally generated, randomly generated, and I'm not here to sell you. I think that's kind of my key here is this is a free meetup, and so I want to give away a free NFT as well. So right now, if you go ahead and post your wallet link, let me show you how to do that. So this is something secure you can do, and I won't be pulling up the chat anymore so that no one else sees your wallet. Not that it would allow them to hack you, but go ahead and install MetaMask on your iPhone, on your Android, on whatever device you're using. And then once you've installed it, at the top where you have your account name, you can actually copy right here, and this will copy your wallet address. And from there, we'll go ahead and just, I'll give you an example here. So I'll paste my wallet address in, and you can see what a wallet looks like, a wallet address. Wow, I have a lot of windows open. Here we go. So here's a wallet address here. That's the demo address that we got today. But if you can go ahead and post your wallet address in the chat here, then I can guarantee that every single person here, because there's only 15 people at the moment, I will go ahead and give every single person an NFT. So whether that's one of these lucky koalas, which I'm currently working on, they'll be out later this week. Definitely, I think it could be a lucky koala. But I already have some NFTs as well, and I have some augmented reality NFTs, and I have a lot of stuff I'm working on. I probably should have prepared a little bit better to show off my own stuff, but I really just wanted to educate people today. So please share your wallet address. Again, that's not going to make it like someone can hack you, and I won't be pulling up the screen just to make sure that it's not in the recording. But once you share that wallet address, essentially what that allows me to do, let's go to Rarible here. And we'll switch. This is kind of annoying because now let's go to OpenSea because I think OpenSea is already signed in. So on my OpenSea account here, again, it doesn't matter where your NFTs are because they are on the blockchain, so they show up everywhere. But I've already created some NFTs. So you can see here, I have some GIFs and some animated ones, and I have some other ones that I made. I have some that I bought. I have some that are connected to physical drawings that I made because again, when I first hopped into NFTs, I was just like, let's just do anything. I don't know, but people are making money and I'm not, so let's try it. So please, definitely post that wallet address here, and I can guarantee that you'll receive either one of my cardboard soldiers, which I would say is going to be a higher quality NFT project. Just to give you some insight here, we'll go to my Twitter. There we go. So here's my Twitter. And I can show you what I'm doing with the Cardboard Soldiers project at the moment. So this is what I've been working on. I'm working on an augmented reality app that allows you to see your NFT in the real world, place it in the real world, and again, turn off your phone, come back the next day and see the NFT stored in the exact same place in your room the next day. So that's what I'm working on. It obviously already works, but I'm just really taking my time. I'm not rushing this. Obviously, there's a lot of money in it, but I'm an artist. You know, I built these 3D models. I built the app. I built the logos, the faces, the websites, the everything. So, you know, it's cool, and I know it looks really cool, but I'm still not ready to publish this one yet. So definitely, you know, please just like get in while you can. Like I'm giving these away. I would love to give away these guys. I would love to give away my lucky koalas that I'm working on as well. I'm really working on these kind of as like a project to make sure that I'm doing this the right way before I launch my big augmented reality project. So the lucky koalas are going to come out this week, and definitely I want everyone who attended today's meetup to have one, and maybe another NFT as well. So I think that's the best way to do the raffle. Just go ahead and post your wallet address in here, and I will send you an NFT later today or before the end of the week if it's not one of the ones that I already have, which is a good thing. So we'll give you some time to do that. Before we wrap things up here, I see some things popping in, so I won't check on that. Let's just double check any questions. Is Bitcoin tied to a prime number? How can it be fungible? I'm not too sure I fully understand that question, but what I will say is Bitcoins are all the same, so it doesn't matter if you have the Bitcoin that you bought yesterday or the Bitcoin that you bought today. You can't tell them apart, and that's what fungible means. It means that we can't tell them apart. And also they're not changeable is another thing that's important here. How can I start to put my creations into NFTs? So again, you don't necessarily need to copyright it. I would say the best things to do would be building a Twitter for that project, or if you have a powerful, you know, Twitter with at least 100 followers already, maybe launch it from there. Let me just find a good screen to kind of end on here. Probably this one. So yeah, if you're an artist and you'd like to do that, let's just turn off all the cameras here. Let's do that. Let's give me 1 second, everyone. It's just annoying me that it keeps moving. Perfect. So that should be good here. There we go. And then I'll just go back to the screen. Yeah. So if you're an artist like myself and you'd like to start making NFTs, again, you can make them one by hand, upload them one by one, no problem. And that's it. The uploading it to the blockchain is your copyright. That's kind of how you're saying, hey, I was the first person to upload this to the Ethereum blockchain. There's no changing that. So you don't need to copyright your art before you upload it. You literally can just upload it. It's not like centralized. You could do this anonymously. I think that's kind of the big wake up call for me, is that you could have a multi-million-dollar project that no one knows who created it. Like the Bored Apes, the apes that I showed you, only recently did we find out who created those apes, but they made millions and maybe even $1 billion before anyone knew who they were. So that's kind of my point here, is it's not about protecting your art. It's more so getting it to the blockchain for as cheap as possible, because you do have to pay to upload to the blockchain. And again, whole separate conversation there. So I think it's just, we can talk more about NFTs for sure. If you have more questions, feel free to email me. Feel free to go to my website. It's nearfuture.marketing. You can find my email at the very bottom of the webpage there. You'll see an email icon. Just click it and that should allow you to email me. But I can answer any more questions. I would love to, and keep typing those questions in the chat as well. I'll try to answer them. But I think right now, go ahead and share those wallet addresses. I'll give it a couple more minutes here, because I think once I end the meeting, the chat closes. So let me just check here. Yeah, we have a couple more. And so again, and you know, I don't think you guys ever saw my camera. That's kind of funny. There's me. But yeah, basically go ahead and share that wallet address. I want to give everybody the time to get their address into the chat. But with that address, I'll be sending you an NFT today or throughout this week. And like I said, find my email. I can share more info about just answering your questions. Sorry, I'm kind of drawing blanks here because we're 20 minutes over. I want to make sure I give everyone the room to share what they're thinking, and I want to make sure that I just answered all the questions about being an artist. But essentially, check out those YouTube links. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Check out the YouTube links that I put in the chat there. Those will help you because they help me a lot. They help me with 2D. They help me with 3D. Me personally, I really love 3D NFTs. I specifically love 3D NFTs that are compatible with the metaverse. And that's all I'm interested in creating is I want to make sure that if I give you a 3D NFT, you can actually use it today in a game engine today. You don't have to wait for the PlayStation 6 to come out. I want you to be able to use it today. And so that's all I create. But you can create all sorts of things. I wish I could have talked more about it. I think definitely we'll be having another NFT discussion here. But with that, again, we're over time. We have 13. So what time is it now? It's 3:18. So we'll give it 2 more minutes and then I will go ahead and wrap things up. Maybe just to make sure here, again, I can't check the questions because I told everyone to type in their wallet addresses. I don't want to compromise you guys. So let me go ahead and just share my screen one more time. There we go. And our next meetup, I'll probably try to make it within the next week. Again, follow me on social media because I'm going to be posting content there every single day. Sadly, my dog recently passed away, so I had to kind of slow down there. But it's been some time. I've had some time to heal, so I'm ready to see the public again, obviously. But the last thing I wanted to show you, I don't know, I drew a blank there. I think I'm really just trying to buy the time to make sure that everyone can get their wallet address in the chat. So let's go ahead and give it 1 more minute here. And while we wait, again, I can just kind of point out some things maybe. So here back on Rarible, oops, or OpenSea, I think again, OpenSea is going to be the most popular one, but on Rarible here, we can see, again, many different examples of NFTs. Let's go back to OpenSea because they actually have more types of NFTs here. So if we go to Explore, you'll see that there's all NFTs, but there's art, there's collectibles, there's even domain names and sports and photography. There's so many things. So someone asked about virtual real estate. Well, if you go to virtual worlds here on OpenSea, this is a really easy way to find virtual real estate. So exploring virtual worlds here, you can see OVR land. I think this one's pretty cheap. I think they recently changed how it works to make sure that everyone can afford to play because again, who wants to play a game that costs $20,000? But yeah, this is an NFT game and I could explain more about it, but if you wanted to buy real estate in this game, it's right here. You can do it directly from OpenSea. You see right here, buy now, and we'll click buy now. And then it's going to pull this up. And so it looks like this particular piece of land is $500. But again, you might find something cheaper. It's just really up to you to do the searching and to find something that you see as valuable. But all of these are going to be different projects that include real estate in them. And again, it's up to you to do the research. So here's the sandbox. We talked about this one. We click into the sandbox. Again, you probably want to check out their website before you buy any land from them because you need to understand why it's worth so much and why people are, will it be around in the future? I think is a very good, important thing to know about the real estate that you're buying. So with that, I think I've provided enough time here. We're 21 minutes over, so I really do appreciate everyone for staying. I really look forward to next time. It looks like we got up to a good number of people sharing their stuff here. And maybe you guys didn't even see what I was just doing, so that sucks. Let's really quickly here. I just want to really make sure I show that off. So on OpenSea, I click the Explore button. And again, there's all sorts of things we can explore, but I chose, let me make sure you're seeing this, because I still don't think you're seeing this, so let's send it. There we go. I chose, so here we are on OpenSea.io. You hit the Explore button, and then you can go ahead and hit Virtual Worlds. And so anything in this Virtual Worlds category is up for grabs. You just need to do your research as to whether or not it's worth your time. I would suggest the ones that are verified over a non-verified collection. But definitely check out, any of these. Here's the sandbox. Here's Decentraland. Again, we talked about both of these today. And so if you wanted to buy land or an item in Decentraland, you could buy it right here. Like, let's buy this hat. Again, I could sell this hat to other players, and maybe the hat even gives them special powers. I don't know. But definitely that's it. That's all you need to know is you go to OpenSea, you hit the Explore button, you find what you're looking for. All right, I'm done talking now. I really love you all for joining me today. I really do appreciate your time, and I'm looking forward to next time. I really have some great things I'd like to show you in our next meetup, about NFTs, of course, but also about just everything else with augmented reality, because I made a whole meetup about it. So we definitely got to talk more about it. But with that, we're right at time. We're over time. I've done a lot of talking. I appreciate your time, and I look forward to next time. Thank you all, and I'm going to go ahead and end this event now. Take care. Bye.